What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of year number 5's off-season. Congrats again to the Denver Tech Rush for winning their second national championship in 3 appearances through 5 years. That's quite an accomplishment, and we could say it's turned into a dynasty.
I would call it a dynasty for sure. Yep, 5 years and 2 titles. That's hard to do in today's day and age. So you guys remember the scores like I said in the other video. We had 3 losses: Midland State, ACU, Amarillo, and everybody else took care of business. So we're going to be heading into the off season here. We're going to have the coaching carousel, and then we'll go over players leaving. So we'll try to squash that into one video for you guys here today. So we'll close the book here on season number 5 and enter season 6.
Before we get into those coaching changes and coaching carousel plus players leaving, we got to take a look at records. Record holders for season records as well as career records. And of course, Alex Jefferson had an amazing season, and he had 91 catches, beat the previous holder by 4.
It's Noah Jones. Wow, these names are taking me back.
Yep, San Francisco 49ers
2
running
years
back.
ago. Joe Russell beats 95-98 quarterback. That was Wesley Bates. Oh man, how about that, Wesley Bates?
Good old Wesley
Bates. He was a good one. And beats Robert Bishop's passing touchdown record. Beats Wesley Bates again for passing yardage, 9,400. So Russell had himself a good career. Galveston beats out Rhett Bollinger.
That's an interesting development there. Only by 2.
From last year.
Yep.
So Musselman's got this passing game rolling.
Figure it out.
As we see that passing yardage. Ooh. Now who was 98 receiver?
98 receiver, that would have been Donnie Tratnick.
Tratnick?
Yeah, Tratnick. You remember Tratnick?
What's his... Not his older brother. It'd be like his uncle.
That'd be his uncle, yeah.
Okay.
Donnie Tratnick. Ardmore goes way
years.
back with the Tratnicks.
Yeah. Grayson Stanfield beats out John Hicks, passing touchdowns and passing yards. Jeremiah Pope for Denver Tech sets the sack record, beats out 85-87 defensive end Winston Jefferson.
Double W's.
And again, Winston Jefferson. Makovich, passing touchdown, career over quarterback from 04 to 07, and that being Ontario Moore. So congratulations to Alex Makovich. And he beats 94-96 quarterback in rushing. That would be Bonnie Westerkamp, 94-96. 2002 rushing record. Now who is this guy? How about Seth Gutierrez?
Okay.
Seth Gutierrez.
We're developing the canon right here, right now.
Jace Freeman, 03 to 06, that being Chris Carlisle. Good job, Jace Freeman. And he beats Chris Carlisle's passing record. Gunnar Rivers beats Gunnar Rivers. Gunnar Rivers beats Gunnar Rivers. Harkless Blair beats quarterback 01 to 03.
Jason Dodge, brother of Jacob Dodge.
Kent Collins beats out Dexter Whiteside, passing yardage. Ben Shanoski beats out 92 to 95 quarterback. How about that? That would be. I probably already said this. I probably already beat this guy. I think his last name's Smith, maybe.
That'd be a good guess.
Smith.
Smiths are popular. Yeah.
Khalid Livingston's touchdown record goes down to Paris Austin. So Paris got the touchdowns this year with 15. And receiving yards, 2001.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. I'm only doing quarterbacks. Seidel Riggins, 4,200 yards rushing, and that will do it. Okay, guys, Nick Saban has retired from coaching, and Alabama has taken a bit of a nosedive here. You guys realize that they have not really been relevant in our dynasty. They've had a couple losing seasons. In addition, some 6-6 stuff going on. So they have been taking a nosedive.
Well, it's got to happen sometime, right? I mean, 70 years old, Nick Saban is thinking about maybe riding off into the sunset. Fortunately for him, it was not the best way to right off into the sunset. And Coach Allison Meadows from Denver Tech. Denver Tech basically is the new Alabama in college football, so he's going to stay with his current contract.
He'd have to be tempted. I think he would be tempted to do it, but he will stay put. So, Dabo.
Whoa!
Dabo is now going to be hired. How about that?
Pretty crazy that he was only the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Clemson
For 1
started
year.
slipping down a little bit, and that's
1
why
year.
your man, your head coach,
Yeah, Stephen Cuss, yeah.
went over to Clemson. And
Well, this is probably going to happen in real life anyway. I'm going on record. I'm saying Dabo, 6 years from now, will be the head coach at Alabama. They're going to pay him $10 or $11 million
well, you know what?
to coach his alma mater.
Put the stamp on it right here in this video, guys. Keep your eyes out for it to happen eventually.
Okay, Philip Michaels has had his contract expire.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in no man's land here because they thought before the season started that they would sign the extension, but as of this point, they kind of soured on each other, and I almost feel like I have to give Midland people what they want here.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I think Midland State ends up offering him the contract anyway, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, so he says he's excited to offer you the head coach job, but do we want Michaels to say no, GTFO, or does he say, oh man, I get the cushiest job in all of the NCAA, I want to come back. I have these expectations that I never really meet.
I think we got to do it.
All right, let's pull the plug. Let's pull the plug on Michaels. He's no longer the head coach. And now Midland State has an opening at the head coach position.
Here's Rob LaDuca here. So LaDuca's contract has run out at Shreveport, and he was kind of on that iffy territory where Shreveport didn't want to extend him. So they, instead of firing him, they would just let him not be employed there anymore. Sometimes these teams do that stuff. So looks like he's going to re-sign, though. We see the record there. Shreveport, it's a pretty good run at Shreveport. This is not a football factory.
It's been a very solid run for Mr. Rob LaDuca. He had a couple years there with his son at quarterback in the very first couple years. 7-6. Consistency was the name of Rob LaDuca. Had one bad year where the quarterback kind of situation fell apart. They got Rashid Davis as a transfer from CAMU, then ended up going 10-3. It's best season in quite a long time there at Shreveport, so I would say that he would want to come back and keep that train a-moving. So he's going to end up signing this extension. And of course, now we have the Bud Warner news, so he is going to be retiring and riding off into the sunset.
Kind of.
The word is on the street that there are rumors that it's going to be R.J. Goodman who is the offensive coordinator. However, that offense for CAMU was terrible. The last 2 seasons with Jace Freeman at quarterback, making the wrong decision to allow Rashid Davis to leave. You got to ask yourself, is R.J. Goodman as the OC responsible for all of that, or was that mostly Bud Warner? And then that's really the verdict that's been left in the program.
There's a bit of a power struggle going on right now because Bud Warner, likes to do things his way, the old school way. He's been the head coach there for 38 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So he had his guy. RJ was his right-hand man. Came up with the offensive line on staff, 2005. Gets promoted to coordinator, 2010. He's been the coordinator there for 7 years. So he's been Bud's right-hand man for the latter portion of his career. He got him his start, came up as a grad assistant. He trusts RJ Goodman. CAMU, athletic director and board of trustees, wants to do something else. So
yes, so that is the decision left. It's the hanging chad here for CAMU, is what are they going to do? Is it going to be a good old boy network? Are they going to let RJ have the keys to this car, or are they going to go ahead and find somebody else? This is kind of big news too. LSU head coach went 1-11. If you guys remember who that was Alfred Johansson. So if you guys remember who that was actually the head coach for UBA. Now LSU has hired head coach from Cal, Jay Sims. If you guys remember, this head coach was from ACU a couple years ago.
He was an ACU guy for 1 season. I believe he was the OC at ACU and had a little bit of success at California. So Johansson has flamed out. He's
done. He's done.
I mean, he ran LSU into the toilet after winning the Sugar Bowl at Broken Arrow. So he's gone in 2 seasons.
Well, this sucks. Mike Denbrock is going to sign a 5-year contract for the Ragin' Cajuns, and he's going to go to the Sun Belt. This might be a nice little nesting spot for Mike Denbrock to be a head coach and learn how to do it. It's a pretty good coach that we just lost.
Nice. Hilarious.
Wow, so interesting development here. Obviously, with the offensive coordinator stuff, this is things that are out of our control. The CPU is in control of this. Ryan Killian, a former, what was he? Offensive
coordinator? Or no, former offensive line coach and associate head coach.
For Ardmore, Ryan Killian used to be a part of us. That's why we said the alma mater was Ardmore. Went off to Shreveport as a coaching staff change out there because, like we talked about, Rob LaDuca was under the gun a little bit. He wanted to flush out all of the bad coaches in his staff.
Killian wanted the OC title and more money, and Shreveport gave it to him.
And now that Denbrock's gone, he comes back home.
For more money and the OC title at a better job.
It all worked out for him.
Beautiful. So how about Philip Michaels? He got a lot of attention as a potential coaching candidate. Had some rumors. He was looking at the Camu job. But he's deciding to go to formerly the Nick Saban Rehabilitation Clinic for coaches. And now he's going to the Dabo Sweeney Rehabilitation Clinic for failed head coaches. So, not really failed. I think this is a stopgap move for him.
Yeah.
I don't think the job he wanted was available or offered. I think he is just going to take this one and be like, yeah, it's a good thing to put on the resume.
Yes, and if the Alabama defense is currently a 93, pending anybody that's leaving and coming in, whether or not it stays at a 93, we don't know, but it's still a good football team, and with Dabo head coaching it, you get an old Nick Saban out of there. Michaels has got something to prove. Obviously, as a defensive coordinator now, he's got his head coaching job or his next stop on the line here. So, of course, he wants to put his best foot forward. Just wasn't working out at Midland State. So we'll see how he does here in the SEC. Might be an interesting game, don't you think? Alabama against one of the Big 12 teams?
Could be.
So Bud Warner told Camu that he was going to retire, but then he just had this offer that was too good to pass up. I mean, how can you deny this? You're in your late 70s, early 80s. You've been in the game for so long. You've got this cushy job, this 99 overall defense out in Florida. Plus, he has his own retirement home out in the Florida area. So when you're looking at this record and this team, this caliber, he's not even going to have to be out on the field. He can just stay up in his little press box and say, I'm going to call some plays for Florida.
What happened was Florida's defensive coordinator had some issues with, doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah.
Ingesting certain substances.
Yeah.
So he got canned. And then the other one had an issue similar to Hugh Freeze. So now what Florida says, they need a stoic paragon of virtue to step in for one season. And it's going to be Bud Warner. He's going to sign a 1-year contract to be the Florida defensive coordinator.
So that's pretty crazy to think that he would tell Camu that he was going to retire, but I guess he just pulled an Urban Meyer and was just like, hey, you know what? I've got the itch again. I guess I really didn't want to retire, especially when it's so close to home.
Well, how about Rocky Long? Rocky Long quit as the head coach at San Diego State to take a defensive coordinator job. How about that?
Well, that tells you something. Maybe there's stuff out in Camu that we don't know what's really going on.
No. Maybe Bud Warner, he was totally 100% committed to retiring, but this is in early February, and Florida had an emergency.
Yeah.
And they went out and talked Warner back into it. So we're skipping ahead in the timeline a little bit. But Warner's going to take the job. Yeah, Benny Francis leaving, so Shreveport is... they're going to have to find some answers here. LaDuca, I mean, the minute you get success, you get a grasp on it, it's gone. It's like a fistful of sand.
Yes, he's having a lot of bad luck, and this is the way things would kind of go for Shreveport, right? Maybe he's got to start thinking to himself, he's kind of feeling a little guarded now because these guys might be looking at Shreveport just as kind of a jump pad. And I think that's what we talked about in the off-season video last year, heading into year number 5, was that both Benny Francis Jr. and Ryan Killian looked at Shreveport as a lifting position for them to get better jobs in the future. Yep. That's exactly what ended up happening.
Shout out to our Bowling Green fan out there. But a new OC here at Little Rock. It's going to be Mike Jinks.
Yeah, this is an interesting hire because I think Buddy Monroe really likes LaQuinton Evans and his pocket presence, and now he's got a lot of weapons. He's got probably, if we really think about this and analyze this, and we'll see this after the training results, LaQuinton Evans in his very first season probably has better overall weapons than Gunnar Rivers had coming into his first year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Buddy, he had his hands in that playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So, but maybe with hiring Jinx, he's going to let go of the last remnants of his pro-style offense.
Expect big year for Callahan and Camille Mason for sure.
Hey, there's our buddy. Alfred Johansson is going to be the new defensive coordinator at USC.
Good luck. You suck.
2 new coordinators for Shreveport, and they are reaching into the well of experience. Jed Fish is going to run the offense at Shreveport, and the defense will be helmed by Randy Edsall.
I don't know about that. I mean, Edsall had some good years at Maryland, right? And some really...
So 2 very Shreveportian moves.
I liked what he did at UConn for a couple years, and then he left, and then he did some weird stuff. He's been bouncing all over the place, and really has been kind of there and here and there, and good, not so good. He's been very inconsistent as a head coach, so maybe going back from head coach to DC might be a good move for Randy Edsall. And really good for Shreveport because they need some consistency, and they also need really some guys that LaDuca can trust.
Okay, maybe a change here coming to Broken Arrow. They fired Carter Garrison and hired Travis Trickett out of Georgia State. Let's see what they do on defense. Maybe Pendergast. They're going to go with Chris Ash.
Man, I keep saying it every time we talk about UBA, but this has gone from just great football to really like, what are we doing? We're hiring C- prestige people. They're 2 years removed from a title. All right, so RJ Goodman has been promoted to the head coach position for the Kansas A&M Amber Wave.
Well, they cited continuity as being a major factor, but I do think that he is going to be on somewhat of a short leash here because
he's been there.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think the board is too enthused with him. They wanted to make a big splash, but they decided to do Bud Warner right by promoting RJ Goodman. So I hope KMU fans have their man, but we don't know.
They see potential in how young he is versus what they had with Bud Warner, who was, like you said, stuck in his ways a little bit. And now that they get somebody who's been there, a part of the program tradition, it kind of makes sense to have like that model of consistency that you mentioned. So, RJ, good luck in year 6.
So KMU's offense is now going to be run by Anthony Hinterman, and I don't know what kind of fashion statement he's making with that pink jersey, with that pink polo, but there it is. Okay, well, maybe we have the next rising star here, but Midland has finally announced their head coach hiring, who is co-defensive coordinator and assistant head coach of Denver Tech. So they went to the well.
Look at this guy's face, man. He's super muscular, man. Look at this guy, Hudson Brockmeyer.
He looks like a hard, you know what.
He is going to get this Midland State team to potentially go to new levels, hopefully.
It's a good playbook they could use.
For Midland State?
Yeah. Ohio State. How about that? He's going to be aggressive. They're going to be throwing them. This is throw.
Yeah,
it's flipped.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, he's going to be a guy that's not going to take any BS. He's going to be a guy that's going to be hard-nosed, and want these guys to play with a chip on their shoulder and some fire.
Let's get it, Coach B.
Yeah, Coach B.
So after all that, guys, this is what we got right here. So you see Allison Meadows. I'm looking at 23-9 versus top 25. 5-0 versus Boise. Deloach has 52-14. People talk crap. They don't know what to talk.
It's just coming through in the clutch. You know, he just doesn't come through in the clutch.
Brock Musselman at 40-25. Let's look at the bowl records. He's 2-3. Deloach 3-2. Buddy's 4-0. That's surprising.
Mm-hmm. That is very surprising.
7-16 versus the top 25. Tremaine Young, 35-6.
Yes, he's been very, very good for us.
LaDuca, doing all right there. Leroy Jackson, Clinton Langford, Braxton Austin Sr., 6-7. Tim Lester, R.J. Goodman entering the fold. Hudson Brockmeyer entering the fold. So after all this, how many guys are still around from year number one? You got Meadows, Deloach, Musselman, although on a different team. Monroe. So we're at 4. LaDuca's 5. And that's it.
That's it.
5 out of 12.
Yeah.
I guess it's about normal.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So we haven't had a lot of a Madden update for you guys in quite some time, but we will get to it. We'll let you know how those Miami Dolphins are doing, and plus the other Big 12 team builder players that we've known to come and love in these past few years. But we have some new blood going into that Dynasty, that franchise mode, that little mini series that's attached to this one. Joe Russell headed to the NFL draft. We'll see where he ends up, projected at a round number 2 grade.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. Maybe the production that he had at ACU, especially in big-time games, just didn't impress anybody. Boris Beef, he's definitely going to be in the draft, even though it doesn't say that he is. He's going.
It'll be a high pick. Jared Kirk. Somebody's going to be a first-rounder off of this team. I would probably... I think Russell will sneak in the first round and probably Beef, but I think that would be it as far as the first round is concerned. They'll get a couple guys drafted, and then Kaiji Beasley.
All right, so with the Ardmore Thunderwolves, oh man, this sucks. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
losing all of our top guys, but man, does it hurt seeing some of these awesome names that we've come to get used to and know and love for the last many, many years. Florencio Woolridge is gone. Apollo Warren is gone. Wow. James Holmes, Seeley Link, Streeter. These are all names that I've come to have an attachment to. David Price.
Yeah, like Apollo Warren, your captain, heart and soul of the defense. That's what you get for not redshirting year 2. He could have redshirted season 2, but he played. Now he's gone.
6'3", 250. He's definitely going to be a big-time player for anybody at the next level. But David Price might be a fringe guy at the NFL level, so we'll see where he might be going. But
good riddance, Luke Davis.
Yeah, bye.
Go play somewhere else.
Go play at Maryland.
Go stink somewhere else.
Oof.
It's tough. A lot of offensive playmakers. Basically, our best offensive players are going to be leaving. I'm sure people on here will be saying, why was Shinosky playing over Tyler Gladden? He threw one pass in his career. Dang, man, he should have transferred. He could have gone and played at Southern Illinois.
Could have done some other thing.
Or Drake. He would have been a good player for Drake. But dang it. Okay, well, Landon Wade's gone. You know, this will be a good offseason for us, though. You know, we hit a rough patch there late in the year, but we're going to have our coaching staff. You know, a lot of continuity there, a lot of players coming back. We'll be good next year.
Oh, little prairie dogs, always so optimistic. This one's okay. I mean, Amarillo's losing some pretty good players here with Eugene Brown, Von Borstel, Keon Sykes. We've seen him pop a few big runs.
Darnell Powers.
Yep, Darnell Powers is gone. We got some 80s here, 79s with Culver, Vickers, Sykes, Landry. It's
actually it's getting worse from I get down here.
The depth. They're losing a lot of depth. And I think that might be a problem going into year number 6 for Amarillo. But maybe they might be pretty top heavy. They're going to have to do some really good things this year in recruiting to kind of make up for these losses. All things considered, though, very senior-laden team as far as depth goes. We'll see what their roster looks like in year 6.
So it's becoming apparent to me that we didn't have a lot of seniors in the Big 12. Mm-hmm. Like, we were down to our last gasp as far as our made-up guys go. So Juan Bell barely played for UVA. 52 carries. Just wasn't really a factor in his career. That was unfortunate. Quincy Booth, I'll always remember him for being gloveless. He had 48 catches this year for Broken Arrow. He's looking like an XFL player to me. He can stick around as a backup tight end in an XFL game. Couple pieces on the O-line there. Kingsley Knox was always important for them. And then this dude, you're going to play next year. Calm down. I got to understand what you're going through. Yeah, right.
Denver Tech losing a ton of really, really good players. You want to know why they won the national title? It's this. Yeah. This was insane. And of course, Denver Tech always seems to do this. They always have after a big championship run, they kind of fall off just a little bit, and then they come right back, just roaring back with really solid players here. Yeah, losing Makovich, he's definitely going to be a round 1 quarterback. Alex Brewer going in the first round, making some really athletic grabs. Tristan Prater,
he's
good
a little
safety.
Small. He's a little small. I think
Eric Weddle.
Yeah, Prater's he's probably going to fall to like a 3rd round grade. Good college player, but you did see him out there get shoved around a little bit at times. I did have noticed that, but he comes up big, makes some big plays. Scott Thomas wants to leave. You're not going to regret getting your college degree. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, everybody. I should have just let him walk.
Well, I mean, he was around 5.
Yeah.
If I read that correctly, he was around 5. As a running back, you got still some juice left in the tank. I don't think you're going to go. I don't think you're.
Yeah. A defense and offensive line is going to get hit. Andre Kenny's gone. He was big for that offense. And then this dude, Nathan Stevens, I think that national title game by Andre Brandt might have scared him off. But he's going to go join Stephen Cost out there in Clemson.
That's a pretty good move by him. It's somebody who's advising him is probably fairly intelligent.
It's the bags of cash.
Yeah.
Denver Tech's bank account ran a little bit dry.
All right, goodbye, good riddance, Jace. That's pretty harsh. I always liked Jace.
He had a better senior than he did junior year, but
the completion percentage was so bad.
It was the sophomore season, I think, that got everybody's hopes up. 21-9.
And then the junior year with 14 picks, that didn't help.
He's pretty consistent, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, the junior year was his worst season. So
he's Shea Patterson. He is Shea Patterson.
Shea Patterson. Defense, they're going to lose a couple of guys. Stillwell was big for this team. They're going to lose Albert Seals, and he cannot even be persuaded.
It's going to be really interesting to see who plays quarterback for Camu. Is it going to be Jake Reyes?
You shouldn't go through your life that close-minded.
What are you talking about? Seals? Leaving?
It says he can't even be persuaded.
Oh. But Iraq is losing quite a bit of good players here. Gunnar Rivers is gone. He's projected in the 1st, although I don't know where in the 1st anymore. I really, really don't.
Yeah, he was, coming into the year, everybody said top 5, but now nobody knows. Now, Isaiah Green's going to be a big, they like his size, 234. That's big. Defense is getting hit.
Royce Freeman type. Braylon Trahan here, 6 foot, 192. Not going to make the NFL by any means. Maybe the XFL, now that that's a thing. But I could see Braylon Trahan as a free safety in the XFL for the Seattle Dragons.
This is going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. But, as a freshman quarterback with LeQuinton, you're not really anticipating you're going to win a lot of games anyway. So if there's ever a time to lose games, it would be at this point with a young quarterback. So they're going to be all right. Meek Allen losing Harkless Blair to 97. Did the pro scouts just don't like Harkless Blair's game?
71% completion.
I mean, he
didn't throw much.
I don't want to say this because it's kind of a slap in the face to Lamar Jackson, but his game is similar to Lamar Jackson. He is not Lamar Jackson, but his game is similar.
Somebody can take a chance on him. Abraham Young is going to leave. He's from West Hollywood, so he's got his eyes on the bright lights. But you're not ready, dude. You played on a run-first offense. You had 37 catches. You're Donovan Peoples-Jones. Come back to school and figure it out. Adam McDaniel, that's a big one. Losing him. Cisneros was always around there. Brad Freeman was their, I'd argue, possibly the best, definitely the best defensive lineman last year. So we're going to lose Chris Covington. Yeah, you would. It's Ken Collins. He's not even on the board.
Yeah, we didn't even touch it. And he's just like, hey, I'm a 99 overall, but you know what? I'm staying. I'm staying with Claude Gray. I'm staying with this new coaching staff. That's kind of an interesting twist. So he might trust Hudson Brockmeyer.
Okay. You would think in that situation, that he would leave. Bosworth, Witherspoon, Brock, and Blunt all gone. So that defense is going to get hit hard this year. Derek Dawson, it's one of the bigger shames of our dynasty that Derek Dawson never really saw the field anywhere. He would have been a good player. Marshall was good. Simon and Talley were two JUCO guys that they added late. So, they're going to be missed. All right, let's check out Odessa State. Losing some defensive talent.
Actually, a lot of good defensive talent, too.
Yeah, Sam Dowdell. This one's big. A 77 freshman, and he wants out. You're going to have 120 freaking tackles. Braxton Austin will lie his ass off.
Just to keep you around.
His heart will go on. Well, what do you know? The rats are fleeing the ship.
Wow, of the Titanic, because this ship's about to sink. Odessa State, you're going down with the captain. You suck.
Interesting, though, no Paris Austin and no Faintest Nine.
Yeah, those guys are staying.
Faintest Nine was granted a 5th year of eligibility.
Wow, so who's pulling the strings?
What's going on?
Oh, man. Shreveport had one of the best seasons of their entire program history, due in large part, to the defense and the offensive production from Riggins and Rasheed Davis. 20 touchdowns, 4 picks. Yeah, you added him in, and they got 3 games better than they had been prior.
Yeah, Seidel Riggins had himself a pretty nice career there. 19 touchdowns this year. So you see the offensive efficiency went way up. He didn't change. He didn't get any better or any worse than 2016, but they just scored way more points and a much better offensive production. So
I guess the saving grace here is that they're not losing a ton of people, but it still hurts that the 2 guys that they are losing were one of their best players.
Oh, we got Otto. We got him on the hook, man. LaDuca. Yo, we got him.
Come on.
Are we
going to make 40 tackles.
Are we going to lie to him?
He'll make 40 tackles. God.
Don't try to talk me out of this. Don't you do it.
Don't you do it.
Otto, we love you. Don't you say it. Let's go through the transfers really quick. We never get any transfers.
No, never do. Ardmore never gets any. I know that for a fact.
Are you kidding me?
Nebraska State, they need players, and we just don't. We just don't.
We get none.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for episode number 1 of the Year 5 off-season. We will see you guys in episode number 2 for recruiting day and signing day. It's going to be a big day, as always, for the Big 12 teams.
All right, awesome.
All right, and by the way, guys, if you have not checked out the standings in the Google Sheets linked below in the description and in the pinned comment, please do so, because if you finished in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, you had different tiers of prizes for the renaming ceremony video, which will be one of the very last videos that we do for the off-season. So we'll be renaming ACU players, we'll be renaming NCAA players. So if you finished in 1st place, you can choose any team, any player, because they're all going to be freshman, CPU-generated names, fake player names, and we want you guys to be a part of it so we have a little bit more flavor than just the John Smiths of the entire NCAA. So if you finish in 2nd place, you're going to be eligible to rename any Big 12 team builder freshmen, incoming freshmen that are non-customs. And for 3rd place getters, you will only be allowed to rename ACU players. So that's going to be the kind of tier. Make sure you guys go check that link out so you can see where you stand. Leave a like if you like this thing. We will see you next time for episode number 2. As always, peace.